Hello, folks. Welcome back to another Friday night of Let's Talk Benchrest. We're going to try to get through this one more time. Uh, Hope y'all liked that intro. There wasn't an intro because that was the problem last time. Um, I had pre-recorded me handling a firearm, and it doesn't matter if it's pre-recorded or if it's live on a live feed. You can't show your hands on a firearm, so pretty sure that's what got us booted. And the first time we ever got booted, that was we were talking prices. So we're not here to handle firearms. We're here to talk about them, and we're not here to discuss prices. But tonight we're going to talk a little bit about range gear and stuff that you make sure you take with you to the range. Um, Before do you have a checklist that you check off, make sure you got everything in order before you take off and go to the range? And also, what are some common things that you forget when you get to the range? You realize you don't have what you wanted to bring with you. And we'll start bringing the guys out on stage here. We got a full back room here, and we're going to bring them out one at a time and ask them how their week was, and then we'll get to talking about our range items. And first up is Hasbro back from Mexico.
Hey, hey, Chad. Thanks for having me on tonight. It's good to be back alive. Good to be seen in the U.S. Really good to be seen in the U.S. And boy, after I got back, I was sick for another week and a half, but I'm good now. I'm glad to be with you.
Glad to have you back. Glad you're feeling better, and uh, sorry that we got you booted off of the live stream one night, but we're trying to get better at this. Fortunately, the last email I got said no penalty, so I still don't have any kind of a strike. It just let me know that I was outside the guidelines,
I
and it
kind of
was
feel like
removed.
I'm hanging out with known criminals. You know what I mean?
Outlaws. Yep, we're the
Outlaws. There
outlaws.
you go.
Yep. Okay, well, I just seen Dave take his ears out, so I'll bring out, let's see, we'll bring out Minnesota Mike next. Mike, how's your week, buddy?
It's been good so far. How about yours?
Oh, man, had a busy work week, and then I've been on the road today, done a little trading, got a few new items to bring to the channel, and excited about that. And yeah, just getting, hopefully I get to make some videos this weekend. Looking like a lot of
Yeah,
rain. Looking like a lot of rain in the forecast, though.
yeah,
So
I got a little burnt out on work here, so I decided to take today and tomorrow off, and I went down to the range and got caught up on shooting some other people's challenges that I've been lagging behind on. So I recorded a bunch of videos that'll be coming out over the next couple of days. So
kind of why I put one a day out this week, because I was like, if I keep pushing these out and scheduling them ahead, uh, people's videos ain't going to get shown till August. And
yeah.
I didn't want to do that. So, anyways, up next, I think he's got his earphones back in, so we will bring out the man that has been missing for a few weeks, and it's so exciting to have him back, and that is Rimfire Dave. How you doing, buddy?
Hi, I'm out of medical care. I'm clean and green, ready to go again. I miss you all. Good to be
That's
back.
awesome. I would say I missed you, but but I talk but I talk to you almost every day. But
Yeah.
I missed having you on the show. So how's
Well,
that?
thank you. That was very
Yeah,
kind.
yeah. All right. Up next, we got Justin from here in Kentucky.
Howdy, guys. It's been a wet week. Hopefully, get some shooting done this weekend. Itching to get to the range.
That
Hey,
was
Dave.
Evening, Justin.
that was so stale and so short for a teacher that just had his last day with students, and he's on summer break.
I've still got a few days left.
Okay, well
Got to work till the 12th.
you're going to show a little more excitement because you're getting ready to be on summer vacation here,
Yeah, pretty soon.
and we're about to make a road trip.
Yep.
Yeah.
Getting ready to go see Dave for a
Yeah.
All right.
week, maybe.
All
I saw a
right.
meme. I saw a meme that you like, Justin, today. It said teachers don't have summer vacations; they're in recovery.
Yeah.
Up next, we got another Kentucky boy here, and that's George from Southern Rifle.
What's going on, man?
George and the cat. George and the cat.
Monkey the cat.
Mhm.
She's a good one.
Yeah, we were talking in the back room. You've been battling the wind and the rain too, trying to get some videos done, eh?
Jeez, boy, you couldn't do nothing today. Man, the wind was like super bad today. I mean, scary at times.
Well, you had we had another tornado touchdown not far from you over in Washington County.
Yeah.
I've been waiting all day for that phone to ring, thinking I might get called out to work, but they didn't call me. I need some more. I need some more of that play money.
Yeah.
All right, the last one we got back in the green room is that American Hillbilly.
Hey, everybody. How y'all doing?
There he is.
Yep. Hands up, everybody. We surrendered. We ain't getting kicked out of here tonight.
Oh, man. Yep.
Yeah, it's good to
We
see
got the whole
Boom.
panel on this time. at least.
Yeah, good to see Boomstick and Jay Delta and Dale Pogue and Ronald Eastman's out there and Randy Kay. Got several already in there making comments, but yeah, tonight we've kind of covered building a rifle, cleaning a rifle, scoping a rifle. Talked about rests, ammo. We covered all the bases of building a rifle, and I know our focus has kind of been on rimfire, but we will get away from rimfire, I promise. We do like centerfire. In fact, I just put my scope back on my 6.5 Creedmoor today, and I kind of had the itch to go and try a little centerfire shooting. And farthest I've ever shot that gun's 100 yards, but since I got another Kentucky buddy that can help me stretch it out just a little bit, I think I might go over there and see if I can't shoot it at 200 and 300, or close to 300 anyway.
We can get 3.
Yeah.
You drive a little bit, like I hope you shoot steel at 400.
Yeah.
We could go to Atterbury and shoot 1,000.
Yeah.
Drive a little bit further, I'll take you out to 1600.
Ooh,
Heck
there we
yeah,
go.
I want that experience. I really do. I've never got to experience that. And that's the whole reason I bought that 6.5 Creedmoor. And I know a lot of people don't like 6.5 Creedmoor, but I bought it because I had some friends that were shooting long range, and you got to get into it. And by the time I got all my stuff together, my rifle put together, they quit. So,
That's the way it goes, man.
so
I'll get you out there, Chad.
yeah.
We got
So-
some places.
Range gear. We're talking when you're going planning a day to the range, which if you're like I am, I have a Jeep Grand Cherokee that the back of it's full of my shooting gear, and most of it just stays locked up in the back of the Jeep, so I don't forget anything. But I know Rimfire Dave has a checklist that he does, and if you haven't watched his channel, you should go check his channel out sometime, because he's got a really good video over there about a checklist that he runs through every time he's going to go to a match, and that checklist is that's something that I see really, really beneficial. And Dave, or I'm sorry, George, he put a picture out there last week of a range bag and kind of everything that's in it, and he had some good ideas in his bag too. I started to show that right about the time that we got kicked off the air. So we didn't make it. We didn't make it real far last week. So, um, anyways, if you're going to the range and you, what are some things that you take with you, and what are some things you typically forget? Um, Feel free to put some stuff in the side chat. Let us know what some experiences. I know I'm not the only one that's went to the range before and left the bolt to my rifle at home. Yes, I've done that.
Yep.
So, anyways, let's let's just go around the room and we'll let everybody kind of hit on what they take, what they don't take, and then we might get into we'll touch on some of the things that are in your bag. What brand they are, or what you use. Like I have some examples over here on the table of some of the stuff that I use when I go to the range. So, Justin, you gonna go first?
Yeah, it's fine. Some of the things I do take, of course, you got to have ammo, and I got a couple ammo cans with different test ammo that I normally take. Um, I always take extra ammo. You never know, might be able to help somebody out if they run out or something, or you never know how a match may go. They may do some kind of side match or something, and you always got to be ready for that. I typically carry extra sandbags and front rests and stuff in case somebody don't have what they need. Take everything to clean a rifle with: bore guides, cleaning rods, solvent, and all that. Just it's good to have some tools too. You never know if somebody may need to remount a scope or have some kind of problem with that.
Tommy Boy says he's went to the range before and he left his rifle and everything at home. What'd you do, Tommy Boy? Throw rocks?
Hillbilly, I was gonna say, speaking for a friend, going to the range and going bang bang isn't a lot of fun.
Exactly.
So one time I went to a match and forgot my iron sights to my 52. So I didn't shoot iron sight class that day. I have them in a little Pelican case, and that's back then. I shot my Unital. I shot a couple classes with the scope on the gun. Then I'd take it off and put iron sights and shoot iron sight class. Well, I ran off and left my little Pelican box with my sights in it. So, and I have went to the range without a front rest before. So that you got to remember to get your front rest sometimes.
What about you, Hasbro? You got anything to add to that?
I've forgotten about everything.
You forgot.
I have a gift of that, but especially when I'm doing load development, the one that ticks me off the most is when I leave my chronograph. And it's 25 minutes to the main big range that I shoot at now. I can shoot in the backyard a little bit, but yeah, that one is the one that really ticks me off more than anything else. I've not forgotten bolts. I have forgotten a rifle that I specifically wanted to do. And the one time I did that, I was really ticked off because I had 6 different ammo test slots where you're doing charge weight development. And so I had, 300 rounds of ammo all ready to go, and the rifle's sitting 5 minutes away. That's not so good. But yeah, in my range bag, I have everything in case I forget it. I have a complete metric, standard Allen sets, screwdrivers, oils, grease, and like Justin said, I have enough ammo for a small army in case somebody needs it, in case I shoot too long too, especially when I shoot 22.
Tommy Boy says the day he forgot his gun, he just ended up picking up brass.
There you go.
Yeah. I tell the guys that join our range all the time, it's $120 a year for membership. You get a key to the gate. You can come and go any day, any time of day. As long as there's an event not going on, you can go there. If you want to sight your night vision in at 3 in the morning, you can go at 3 in the morning and go in the range and set up and sight your night vision in. You have full access to the range, but you can pick up well over $120 worth of brass each year and get your money back if you're a reloader. So
Yeah.
You didn't mention a checklist. That's the one thing when I go to a match, I live by, right?
or we
Because
got a
I
guy
am
that
not making that mistake on a match. So,
we got a guy that comes to the range and picks up rimfire brass and puts it in a bucket and takes it and sells it for scrap.
yeah, why not?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, Hillbilly, what's some things you try to remember to take to the range?
Well, the first thing I always load up is some snacks. Got to have snacks when you're out there training. I mean, you make sure you got plenty of that. Something to drink. And then I go back and get, whatever firearms and ammo and stuff I need. But yeah, I think one thing that sometimes we forget is like a long wooden dowel or something in case you get a casing stuck, and it's happened not like to me once or twice, but if you're out there shooting somebody, sometimes that just happens, and it's hard to find a stick straight enough and that long to try to and it can end somebody's day there, or that rifle for the day, and but it's happened on just some rimfire and stuff too, and
If you shoot long enough at a range, you're going to experience a squib or a shotgun round that didn't go out.
Or a stuck case.
A stuck case.
I've had that.
I've experienced them all, and we were at the trap range tonight, Justin and I, and the trap range also has a shelter canopy like what we shoot under at a rifle range, but we got one at the trap range too. And they brought a wooden dowel rod and they stick it up in that canopy up in the rafters. That way, if anybody has a wad gets stuck in the barrel,
yeah,
they can just go over and get that stick, knock the wad back out of the barrel. And that happens a lot too. Actually,
Yeah.
we got a lady that she shoots a lot of traps. She actually owns her own trap and skeet range, but on the days we have our trap, she comes and shoots at our range too. And she trap shoots competitively. Well, when we had those floods here in eastern Kentucky, she had 100 cases of shotgun shells that got underwater. And
Not boxes, cases.
Cases.
Dang.
100 cases. But she's still shooting them. And a lot of them still work, but every now and then she'll get one that goes thoop.
The wall gets done.
And she'll have to knock it out of the barrel.
Well,
But
nope.
yeah, a good rod to get a wad out or a squib load or something like that. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, it's just something that most usually nobody has with them, and so I always just keep one behind the seat of my truck. But
At
yeah,
at my private range, I keep a brass rod. It'll go down to 22 caliber for knocking out squibs. It's up in the rafters of the range. Had to use it once.
yeah.
Yeah,
Just tell her not to listen to Cooter. Don't put it in the toaster or microwave to dry that ammo out. So.
Hack cooter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, basically, I just try to, basically have a check. I'm always been a big checklist person, and I was told a long time ago, keep you, this little pocket notebook like this, with you every day, write everything down, and it literally takes stress off of you. Because you're not having to try to remember stuff and everything. You just write it down and forget about it. Yeah.
I can remember back before I started filming and doing YouTube videos, I went to the range with like multiple pistols that I wanted to shoot, and I'll find at least one of those that I didn't even bring the ammo for. It's easy to forget stuff.
Oh yeah.
So, Dave, read that checklist off to us, buddy. What do you make sure you take to the range with you?
Oh my goodness. Well, I I got totally freed up from the doctor yesterday. I could do whatever I wanted. So I got up this morning at 7 o'clock, loaded my car up with a half a dozen rifles, all 22s, went to the range, and I had an experience all day today that I don't understand how it happens to me. But the first guy shows up, he sits right next to me with his 22, and he's trying to shoot 50 yards. And he said, "Something's wrong with my gun." What do you mean something's wrong with her gun? He said, "Can you look at it?" I said, "What do you want me to look at?" It looked like it was a newer CZ, maybe a varmint. And he said, "Look at it. Shoots high, low, left. What's wrong?" So I said, "I'll look at it." So as soon as I walked over, I picked it up. I could feel something was moving. And here, the scope. I said, did you check the screws before you left your house?" "No," he says. "Do you check the screws?" That's the first thing on my list. Check all screws on guns prior to leaving. And there he says I didn't do it. So I had to take the scope off, and the base was loose, and tighten it up. So he's all happy, and I start shooting again. Another guy comes and sits on the other side of me. He goes, "Oh, great. He's shooting a 52B, forgot his magazine." So now and he can't get his big fat fingers that are loading one at a time. I had the 52 with me today, so I had to take my magazine out, give it to him, so he could shoot his gun. And that's just today. But my list is long. It's simple. I said it's my rifle with all the screws tightened and the bolt. And I take my ammo in a cooler because in the summertime, as the temperature changes and fluctuates, it affects your ammo. And then I have my front rest, my rear rest, my bags, my stool, my wind flags, my range bag, my blanket, my toolbox with all the accessories. And then I have water and snacks, my target, and of course, eye and ear protection. And that's my main list. Now, inside my range bag, there's a whole lot of stuff. That has pencils, timers, staplers, tacks, Allen wrenches, level, chamber flag, torque wrench, calibers, small bags, bases, levelers. And then the toolbox has accessories, and it's just too much to name what's in that. So that's what I take over every time before I leave. I go over my list.
You know what? You know what, Dave?
But
Well, now you're a YouTuber, so you got to have a checklist for all your camera gear.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
It is.
Make sure batteries are on that list too.
Charged batteries.
Yeah.
Charged batteries. Yeah.
And chargers.
Yeah.
But I just can't believe in one day within an hour, two guys are at the range, never checked the scope, never checked nothing, and a guy comes there and they drove 45 minutes, no magazine. And because I can't load them, and they're falling on the bench, and the way the wind was blowing today, that there's all kinds of pollen and stuff on the bench, and he picked it up, was going to shove it right in his gun. I said, "Don't do that." And he said, I said, "Look at the stuff on that case." "Oh," he said, "where'd that come from?" He's trying to wipe it off. I said, "It fell on the bench. Now you're going to pick it up and shove it in your gun and shoot it down the barrel." I said, "I guess you guys scare me."
A grain of sand will destroy a chamber.
In a minute,
Yeah.
So he said, "I didn't bring a blanket. Where'd you get that at?" I don't know where I got it. It's just a blanket. I lay it down first. You go to yard sales in the summertime, you buy them for a couple dollars. When they're done with them, throw them in the trash and get another one.
Mike, I know you can relate to this, but shooting F-class, even then my ammo never touches the ground, never touches a mat, never touches anything. It's from the case to the chamber, back out to the case.
Yes.
Yep.
So, Mike, You got a little bit different style of shooting than most of us. You shoot some different positional shooting, and you do more than just bench rest. So maybe you got some different items that you make sure you take to the range. There's one I haven't heard yet, and I know you got to use one.
Well, as far as like what I do, I take a blank piece of paper. If it's a match, the day or the night before, I take my if it's a center fire match, I've got a an old Alice pack, a military backpack that has everything in it that is or should have everything in it, so I can hump that around from stage to stage type of a thing, and I unload the entire pack. I lay everything out. I make sure that all out on my pool table. I got the rifle, I got the mags laid out, I got the spotting scope, I got binoculars, I got the different tripods I'm bringing. I lay it all out, and then I visually look at it, and then I take a blank piece of paper and I write down, and I sit there and I stare at the two until I go, what am I forgetting here? Because there's usually something. And like some things I've already heard, I've when I was doing my crossover from shooting 6.5 Creedmoor to 6 ARC, I went to a match and I brought a 6.5 Creedmoor or a 6 ARC, and I brought 6.5 Creedmoor ammunition to it. You know, didn't do me a heck of a lot of good because I had an arc and nobody else was shooting arc. So guess what? I paid my whatever it was, $40 fee to shoot that match. Got all set up at the first stage, and then I watched the first stage get shot, and I got in my car and I drove home because I figured I might as well make the wife happy and come home early because there was nothing I could do. There's nobody could lend me any ammo because nobody else was shooting 6 ARC at that point in time. So,
They weren't
some
gonna
of the
let you.
things that
They weren't gonna let you beat them with their own gun either.
well, I've had another time where actually, and I've got a kind of a cool video out there. I'd have to find it, but where something like that did actually happen, where I had uh, the extractor came off of the bolt on my 6 ARC actually at a match, and a guy actually his girlfriend, a really good friend of mine, his girlfriend decided not to show up, and he was like, "Here, take her 6 Dasher and ammo and everything." And the trigger went to crap on that on like the third round that I shot, and they've got it on video. It's like where I closed the bolt and it went home. I was like, whoa, 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 and they're like, no, it wasn't. And they were happy that I figured that out because they went to a match in Utah or something the following weekend, and at least I figured out for them, or I proved out to them that they had an issue with the rifle, but neither here nor there. Uh, Things that I've done before, I've done a bunch of times. I've got down to the range just to like do videos and stuff and been like, crap, I didn't bring the right tripod, or I didn't bring any tripods to set cameras up on. I've not brought a front rest. I brought the wrong ammo. I forgot to bring ammo altogether. When I was a couple weeks ago screwing around with my kids' RPR, and putting that new scope on it for him, I went down to the range and got all the way down, 35-minute drive one way, got down there and only brought his rifle because that's all I was going to do. Going to go down, honey, I'm going to go down, I'm going to sight Chris's rifle in, I'm going to be right back. Got down there and she's like, man, that was quick. I was like, yeah, because I forgot the freaking bolt because it was sitting here on this bench that I'm talking to you all from, and I turned around, went back down and sighted his rifle in for him real quick. Batteries for cameras and stuff. You want to talk about this morning? This morning, I knew I was going to go down and shoot a couple of various, challenge targets this morning. I had the things I was going to bring with me: 3 rifles, 4 different targets, laid out on the pool table, everything all good to go. My cameras, everything out there, right? And I look back behind me, or I hear this, this weird do 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 sound. And I'm like, I look back behind me. I'm like, where the heck did that come from? So I'm digging around on the pool table in the camera bag that I've got there, and I'm like, well, I'm using cell phones for everything, right? I'm like, did I leave something turned on? Because it made that noise if you just heard it from my phone over here. And it was the camera or the downrange drone camera, and the battery died on it. I didn't plug, the last time been charged was 2 days beforehand. So on the way down to the range, I stopped at Fleet Farm and I picked up a charger for the Jeep so I could charge it the rest of the way down there so I could shoot some video today. But yeah, I make a lot of dumb mistakes when it comes to not bringing everything I should, but I think we all do probably. So
Yeah, we all do.
Well, I'm surprised with you being a positional shooter and shooting different distances that you never brought up one of these.
Rangefinder.
all right. Well, and for one reason, because everything that you do in PRS or NRL, the range is known. You've got a range card in front of you. They've already ranged the target for you. So what I won't forget is I won't forget a Kestrel or a ballistic app, so I can figure it out. So
Right.
yeah.
Well, I got two different rangefinders. I have this one, which is just a basic rangefinder, and then I have this one, which is a 6-hour, and it's for the BDX scopes, and that's the cheater scopes. So I can range with this, and it'll put the holdover dot in the scope where I need to hold at.
Nice.
I like that.
White. How about that? I don't know if you guys see this one. This is one I found to be a really good deal. And it's from Athlon, of all people. They've got a cheap one, and then this one's about $180, but it's a 1 mile sight. Does it make it to 1 mile? I can't tell you, but I can tell you it clearly makes 1,000 accurately. But I shouldn't say price, but about 180 beans. Pretty good deal. I've been happy with it.
Nice.
Yeah, they're staying competitive. They just released a new chronograph, right, to compete with the Garmin. And
It's a serious competitor.
From what I'm seeing, there's people liking it a whole lot better. It responds faster is the biggest thing that I've seen. I know this guy sitting here in the center. He said he was going to order him one. Dave.
It'd be what I'd order. I went deep down the lab radar path with every possible accessory, and it was great. Then I got Garmin. I left the lab radar behind, and now I do that same way with Athlon. It's $250 cheaper, and as good or better. So.
All right. Well, George, it's your turn, and I still got your picture from last week. If you want to tell us a little bit about what we're looking at here.
That's just the stuff that stays in the bag. That don't ever come out of the bag unless you're at the range. The timers, you can't do without those. I got 2 of them. I keep one for backup. The walkie-talkies, those are for setting flags. A lot of people say, well, you use your phone. Well, where we shoot, you ain't got no service, so that's out. And then a good screwdriver set with some bits. And, well, I actually got 2 screwdrivers. I got one there that got a bunch of different bits that fold up. I don't even remember where I got that, but it's handy as hell. Batteries, of course. Extra earplugs. Got some lube, lens cleaner, and some hand lotion. And, of course, some snacks laying there.
Yeah, you said that stuff don't never come out of the
middle. That's optional.
You said that stuff never comes out of the bag unless at the range. I bet those candy bars come out if you get hungry.
I actually haven't been in there since last year. I ain't ate them yet.
I actually traded rifles with a guy today that shoots at Buck Creek. Ain't that one of the places you shoot at?
Yeah.
Yep. Well, anyways, everybody has covered pretty much everything I had jotted down. I think one thing I didn't hear is targets. You gotta have something to shoot at.
Oh no,
Huh?
I mentioned targets. They're
Did you?
on the list.
Okay, I wasn't paying attention. Sorry, Dave. Don't scold me. I mean, I keep a roll of these. I bought these Amazon or I don't know, but it's like a roll of pasty targets, and I got a roll of them in my camera gearbox. I keep a roll of them here at the house. I keep a roll of them in my vehicle. That way, if I get to the range and I forgot my actual paper targets, I can at least stick these on something and have something to shoot at. So that's my last resort targets. But those are, you can buy those really cheap for a roll of them, and there's a whole lot of those on there.
I tried sticking one of those on a squirrel once, but he wouldn't have nothing to do with
They
it.
wouldn't stay with you.
No.
Bringing the right targets is a different thing, because
Yeah.
when I was down there today, I walked down to the 50 and was shooting some 50 and 100, and I came back up to the 50 and I stapled a couple of targets for a couple different people's stuff on, went back to the bench, looked through the rifle scope. I was like, holy crap, that's the damn pistol seltzer challenge target.
I did that on Hasbro's Hammer Time challenge. I
Yep.
got out there and I shot it with the 22 and aced the darn thing, and then looked at it, and it was for 300 blackout. And I was like,
and at 25 yards.
yeah.
Well, when I stapling it up, I didn't think nothing about it. Then when I looked through the rifle scope at the other targets I was going to shoot first, I looked through it and I was like, no wonder when I put it up, I was like, man, this target's going to be easy. Yeah, well, because it's supposed to be shot at 7 yards.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to take a little pause right here and give everybody a chance to get their name shouted out here on the live. And Hillbilly will always do the honors of calling out your name. And if you want your name called out on the live here tonight, type in the word gear.
Gear. All righty. There we got some coming in here. So first up, look like at Hasbro. Up now they're flying on it. Minnesota Shooting Sports. Dale Pogue. We got Alaska One Andy. Got Roger Cochran. Kentucky Rimfire and Hobbies. We got Fuku YT. Roger Cochran. And we got Ron 2A Matters. Ronald Eastman. See, we got Dale Pogue out there. J Delta 22 NC. Got Tommy 22 out there. We got Service Venator. We got Mr. Bob Dabalina. We got Rimfire Super Dave out there. We got Appalachian. Rustic Rimfire 22. And that's it so far. We'll see if we got some more jump in here.
Rustic
We got Mr. Breeze also out there.
Rustic Rimfire says his targets go in the rifle case. Well, if you get out there and you ain't got no target, you could always shoot seltzer cans, right? Hey, Billy?
You betcha. Yeah, here in those Ozark Mountains, you can always find something to shoot at. No doubt about it. We got plenty of rocks,
Shoot at flies.
acorns.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate everybody jumping on here tonight. We've managed to stay live, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And I got Minnesota Mike in here twice. What are you doing, buddy?
Am I in here twice now?
He's got a twin.
He's
signed in.
bipolar.
Oh, he likes it so
There's a
much
lot-
he wants to get on there 2 times.
There's a lot of mics out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I've also been making sure that I pack my calipers in the, because we do a lot of group measurements now, and especially with Elijah's new 100-yard target. So
That's something I was going to ask. The damn apps for measuring groups, where are you getting those?
there's one you can get on. I know one on the iPhone that's called Ballistic X.
Yeah.
But you got, I mean, I think there is a fee for it. It's not a free app. You have to pay for it. But I
I
think
use one.
it's just a one-time fee, though. I think Ballistic X is.
I use one on my laptop because it's maybe a little more precise, a little easier to use, called On Target. And it's like you pay it $20 one time or something, and I've had it for 15 years probably. And then it gives you a whole bunch of stats and stuff.
What you do, just hold your phone up to it?
I take a picture with my phone,
Yeah.
and then I just email that to myself, and then you read that picture in. It's got a scale, so you tell it, okay, the center of this circle is a ½ an inch or whatever. And from there, it figures out all the calibration on what that picture size is. Is that it, Mike?
What? No, I don't do it this way very often, but Hornady, if you've got Hornady apps or ballistic stuff on your phone,
Yep.
Hornady has a group analysis in their software as well. If you're using the Hornady software for ballistic calculators or anything like that.
I use ballistic calculators on there all the time. They got some really good calculators on there.
Yep. Well, and
Hornady app.
yep, and if you've got the Hornady app on your phone, there's something on there that says group analysis where you can take a picture of your target and then with your finger move a circle over each thing and it'll measure the group out for you as well. I just prefer to just come home and put a actual dial caliper on it and do it that way is all.
Yeah. So
We also got Michael 47 out there. Just jumped in with gear. Hey, how you doing?
So,
This is another
George-
one, by the way.
George,
Sorry.
the on Ballistic X. So, like, I just took a picture of this group that's on this target sitting here in front of me. So, the first thing it asks you for is to establish a 1-inch reference.
Yep.
So you have to move that green dot. I don't know if you can see that, but let's just say that can's 1 inch. So you got to move that dot, or well, you'll see it's moving the picture. So you move the picture so that green dot's on the side of that can. All right, and then you hit next, and then you got to move it over here to the other side of the can. We're just assuming that can's 1 inch now. All right, so there's your inch reference. Well, then you got to select your caliber. And then after you select your caliber, you got to select your yardage. And then after you do that, then you got to select your point of aim. So let's just say I was aiming right there. All right. Then you got to hit next. Then you got to mark all your shots. So there's a shot. There's a shot. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Sorry. Go back. All right, there's a shot. Well, sugar. Oh, wait, I'm hitting the wrong button. All right, mark it. Mark it. You got to mark each one of your shots. But what I'm getting at, or what I was trying to get at here, I don't like this because you're relying on the movement of my finger.
Yep.
Be accurate.
To get that shot marked accurately. And there's times where I can sit there and move it around, and when I take my finger off the phone, it kind of moves a little bit. So I I don't trust these to be accurate. That's why I'd prefer to use the caliper. That
I've seen some guys that use those apps that, you know, the information they put up. I mean, I call bullshit on it as soon as I see it. You know,
yeah.
there has to be some. There got to
Well,
be some error. You know,
and
in there
I
somewhere.
know I know I saw your way of doing is you measure outside edge to outside edge and then you deduct.
Yep.
Subtract
Right.
bullet diameter.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which some people are taking their caliper and trying to put the finest point of their caliper needle in the center of the hole. Again, you're relying on your eye to read that center, and
Yeah.
I was going to
So-
show you this one, Chad. This is one called Target Scan.
yeah,
And of the apps, it's probably the best I found because it will take, you have to type in a diameter, bullet, and everything else and scaling, but it will center where you put your finger. It'll look at the hole on the paper and try to center it up. That helps a little bit. But let me show you. I think I can do this. Let me show you the other one and why I prefer it. That is this program. And the reason I like it is it does the same thing, but when you actually place your target, you see here that hole is off a little bit. You can just grab it and move it, but you have a reference that's the exact diameter of the bullet you're using to center up in the hole the best you can.
right.
And then it comes back out. So this helps you be a little more accurate. Now, I still will use calipers occasionally too, like you guys do, but at least that's why I like this one. I think it's a little more accurate to have a reference doing it that way.
Using a PC, you're using a mouse, and that's a little more accurate than your finger.
Yeah, that's I tried to use the ballistic X and I just steered clear of it and just started using calipers. I mean, just
I guess the only thing you can really trust is those scanners like ARA uses and stuff like that. You can scan the whole target.
yeah,
Well, even on the phone, right? If you take it at an angle and you get a keystone effect, it's not going to be as accurate. You have to get straight above it.
Square on.
And even then, you have a fisheye. Sometimes it'll happen. So
Boom says he prefers to use dial calipers from Harbor Freight. It makes his groups smaller than the regular dial calipers. And
I
every
have to do that.
I
And
prefer
every
to have
time
my wife measure mine.
Her 6-inch
Targets,
scales are
hillbilly. Targets.
Well, yeah, but she don't really know the difference between on inches. So
yeah, she's been told lies her whole life.
Poor Aim. Where's Cyclops Joe when you need him?
Yes. So, that made George blush. He had to take his face off the screen. All right, so going back to some of the items you got in your range bag, and Rustic Rimfire says, all the stuff y'all's bags where you put your ammo, that's a lot. It requires 2 bags. So he said, and he also come in again and says he blows the picture up and uses the wax ring.
Yep.
Yep. So going back to items in your bag, let's start with chronographs. What type of chronographs do you guys use? And I never had a chronograph until the Garmin came out, and that's what I have is the Garmin. I never could bring myself to get like the Caldwell one because I was afraid of shooting through that wire, that I'd shoot the wire. And then Lab Radar came out, and it was too many beans for my blood. I could buy a nice rifle for what the radar costs. So um, I never would do the lab radar, but I did finally give in and got the Garmin, and it was a really good decision because man, rimfire especially, you can shoot and look at your SDs and your extreme spread, and it helps you a lot with determining what's working for you if you're trying to be consistent. So, Justin, what kind of chronograph do you use?
So I'm kind of old school. I've got a Pro Chrony. I've used that for years, and it's always a headache to set it up. Shooting through the halo on it or whatever. Lab radar come out. I was considering. Well, actually, Magneto Speed come out. I was considering one of those and kind of held off waiting to see how they'd come out. Then the lab radar come out. A little too pricey. Garmin come out. I was pretty set on buying one of those, and just waiting to see how they played out and if anybody had trouble with them. And now the Athlon's out, so now I'm waiting to see how that one pans out. So I'm either going Garmin or Athlon.
Yeah, there you go. I says still live. YouTube not harassing. No, we didn't play our intro tonight, buddy.
We're behaving.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the intro is what got us with me shooting the guns in a pre-recorded video. So, Hasbro, what kind of chronographs have you used, and what are you currently using?
I hate to say it because it's going to tell you a bit of an age, but I was using a Master Crony for 20 years before I got my lab radar. So there's a date stamp for you. Then I went to Lab Radar and got every accessory and ran it through every single option that it has. The one thing it will do is allow you to calculate BCs with just the one unit, because you get different ranges down the range and you get velocities at those ranges, so you can calculate BC. You can't do that on any of these like the Garmin's. It gives you muzzle and that's it. So what guys are doing is they're setting one of these down at the target, bravely. And then they get a second reading, and then they can calculate BC. So that's fine. That is one advantage Lab Radar continues to hold. But I got the Garmin and sold the Lab Radar, and Garmin's fantastic. It really is. And then the Athlon, like I say, is coming out. I think it's just that much better, right? They've learned, and they're much more competitive, where if you're reloading and you can't afford the Athlon, you probably should stop reloading. This is a critical piece of equipment, I think.
Yeah, Kenny says throw the rainbow flag in your video and it'll grow immunity. We talked about we talked about that, or dyeing our hair blue or something like that.
Okay, I'm out. I'll see you guys later.
You ain't got no hair.
It's true.
Hey, go easy on us bald guys.
Yeah.
Get him, Dave.
Yeah.
Streamline.
Hillbilly.
Yeah, look.
Hillbilly, you got a chronograph, or you judge it by hearing sounds?
I would use a stopwatch. No, I've used the Garmin. It's really nice. I don't have one myself. Really interested in the Athlon that's coming out too. But might wait for like somebody like Monstrum or Olight to put one out. Maybe I can really afford one of them. So
A high point chronograph.
yeah. But yeah, the Garmin's really nice. I would, everybody keeps having good luck with that Athlon. That's probably where I'll be heading, when I start reloading.
Hey Dave, what have you placed your order yet?
I called the place I buy my stuff, and they're out already, and they're supposed to have more next week. But I told them Just call me when they're in. I'll take one. I have a Master Crony in the garage, and I also have a Lab Radar, and I also have a Garmin. So I don't know. I guess I'm a trinket guy. Anything comes out, I buy it.
So Kenny says, so with the new radars, you actually have to take it apart and look at the LiDAR sensor. These other copycats are using a very cheap Chinesium versus Garmin's. So, yeah, that's another thing. How long are they going to hold up? Hasbro, I would like to think that Garmin holds up to its name. I mean, Garmin's been around for a long. Yeah, they're making navigation systems for vehicles and tracking systems for animals, their dogs, hunting dogs. I mean,
They're tough.
they're pretty tough. So
Hey, I can tell you one real quick thing I had right before I left to Mexico, a technical support issue with my Garmin. And the guys at Garmin were awesome. So all of a sudden, I'm shooting air guns, right, at the time, on the air gun mode, and it stopped reading. So I had to switch to other, where you manually define it, and then it would read it. But it wouldn't read high power, wouldn't read 22 rifle, wouldn't read anything all of a sudden. So they told me reset it, and you do go through this procedure. That didn't fix it. But when I did it the second time, it fixed it. But those guys were basically, hey, if it doesn't work this next time, we'll send you a new one. And I've had this thing two years or more. So it was a good experience.
Boom says he's never used a Garmin, but he has used some Charmin in the bathroom.
Oh, baby.
Yep. And Kenny says he is actually a ISCET cert electronic tech for BNSF. He says you're paying cheaper for the radar systems that have more error factor. So, what about you, Minnesota Mike? What kind of chronographs have you experienced, and what do you currently use?
The first one I had was the Caldwell with the sun shields on it and everything, and I was never afraid of shooting the thing itself, but the sun could be difficult with even on an overcast day of getting accurate information out of that. So when these came out, I jumped on the bandwagon and bought this, and I thought this was the greatest thing in the world. The magneto speeds. Absolutely love this thing. The drawback to it is for PRS style shooting and whatnot, and actually getting real time information of what you're doing, and then what it does to hanging off the end of the muzzle, what it does to your groups. The effect it has on your barrel harmonics and everything. Even though there are mounting systems where you can mount this onto a chassis, so you don't have that. It was problematic. So when the Garmin came out, this is the be all end all as far as I'm concerned. The Athlon looks great, but it's larger. And I don't know. There's just so many other things that go along with this. Is that the aftermarket with the ARCA stuff that you can do? The ability to throw this on any of my rifles that have an ARCA rail on the bottom of it and shoot it and not even realize that it's out there. But then, like, how did I miss that? And glance up in a match and see that, yeah, the velocity was off on that round or it wasn't, just to give myself a gut check is really nice when it's mounted right there and it's just hanging off to this side of your vision while you're shooting. So I love the Garmin. The Athlon intrigues me. I like what I'm hearing from Kenny. It makes me realize that maybe this was a worthwhile, 600 bean expense at the time when they first came out, but I like them. So
Yeah, we got TJ Fishing from Australia's jumped in there. Thanks for jumping on. And
I might
Mr. Bob says the only radar systems he's been involved with usually results in a speeding citation. Not a fan. Would not recommend, he says. So, and Kenny's come in again with, I would first focus on doing a tall target test and verify your scope tracking error. Velocity won't matter in your dope if you're not adjusting with your scope error. Yeah, there's so many variables that can give you false information.
Yep.
Yeah, just
In centerfire, I usually go down to North Star and put a 36 by 36 inch piece of ply or cardboard up, and then I'll shoot groups at 2, 4, 600 yards, and then do the testing on that to kind of try to validate what the chronograph is telling me and whatnot. I mean, I'm no rocket scientist, but for just kind of everyday stuff, I think this thing's pretty darn, pretty darn good in my opinion. But
well, I people were saying that they were outrunning the Garmin, like it don't show the speed fast enough. Well, the type of shooting I'm doing and trying to figure out accuracy, I'm not running that fast. So
I'm with you, Chad. Same thing for me. It's like I've never run into that. Even when I'm doing pistol, when I'm shooting, if I do load development with a chronograph, I'm not shooting fast.
mm-hmm.
But to me, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
If you're shooting fast, you're probably not shooting accurate. So
True.
I don't know about that.
Got Garage Guy jumping in there from over in Virginia. So, George, we didn't get down to you. What kind of chronographs have you used, and what do you currently use? Magneto speed. Yeah.
And I use it a couple times a year. I could give a shit whether I had one or not.
Yeah.
Good man, George.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The magneto speed, going back to what Mike was saying, is it's going to show you some data results with your ammo, but you're really truly not going to know what that ammo's doing, because when you hang that on your barrel, you're changing your harmonics. So you might see great data and not see a great group. You don't truly know until you take that back off of there and shoot a group.
The only reason I use them at all is when I'm doing a load for long range, and I just need a speed to get a calculation to do a drop chart.
that's
right. Yep. Johnny's Reloading Bench has a whole series of videos on that. It really shows that error, and it just changes point of impact primarily, but still very valuable information.
Who'd you say?
Like I said, they do make mounting systems for this. If you have something that is like a chassis driven, where you can mount it to get it off of your barrel, which is helpful. But again, the difference is if I want to shoot it while I'm shooting and I'm moving live, this is big and cumbersome. This is not. That's the biggest draw between the two of them, because both of them, realistically, the only thing I use them for is load development. And like you said, to get an idea of, okay, what is, if it's rimfire, what's that bullet doing out of this rifle, so I get an idea to know what to plug into a ballistic calculator if I want to push it further than 50 yards. So, and if anybody wants this, I'd be happy to send it to them, because it does me no good sitting on a closet shelf out here. So, and that's not just anybody on the panel. If anybody out here in the side chat would like this, I'd be happy to send it to you.
That's really nice of you, buddy.
Yep.
Did you say Brian Litz Hasbro?
No, Johnny's Reloading Bench.
Oh, Brian Litz has a whole, about every one of them you can think of anyway, and the differences in them. and it's very comprehensive. It's a really good video. Yeah, he did. My magnetospeed, it works really well, but you have to have it. It came with a little stick, a square block, and you measure it's about a 1/4 inch thick, and you put that at the bottom of your board, and that's you get your magnetospeed up to that. And if you got that right, if you set that right, it does a really good job. Or I guess it does. I ain't got a dozen of them to, test with it. But
Now, you talk about why have one of these, right? It's convenience, it's whatever. But the number one reason I had that was I was tired of having to wait for the range to go cold to set up to take data.
Yeah.
When you're setting a shooting crony downrange, and some ranges get nervous with that, whatever. It's like I could just set up my lab radar right beside it, and get going. And that convenience was worth every bit of the money. So.
Good night, Ron. 2A Matters. Thanks for jumping on, buddy.
Night, buddy.
But, yeah, the Garmin, the fact that you can have it on the bench and setting 15 inches back behind your muzzle, and you don't have to have it downrange and worry about it getting shot or anything like that. That is convenient. I guess after I got the Garmin, I quit weighing ammo and rim thickness checking and all that stuff. I just run the Garmin, and if it's consistent on the Garmin, then I use it.
Anybody mount them on the side of the rifle? I know Area 419 sells a very expensive adapter. I built one for $35 from Amazon parts, and it's nice enough. If we're shooting on a bench, I'll do that occasion. You use that all the time, Mike, that way?
Yep, I bought the expensive Area 419 because they were the only people to have it. But yeah, like I said, the ability to, with an ARCA system to be able to just slide it on and clamp it like that's the bottom of the rifle, and then have it right there, it's hard to beat because again, two fingers, it doesn't weigh anything, it's out there and you don't even realize it's there. So, and like what you said, the other thing with it is just the convenience. And when I bought this, I was thinking of everything with it. I was like, holy cow, it'll work with pistols. It'll pick up subsonic. It'll do, all those things. Good luck with subsonic with a magneto speed. I mean, even if you've got the expensive one, still good luck getting reliable subsonic data off of it. They weren't reliable for it. So, and I knew too many people that would set up lab radars and sit there and look at their, the big square box next to them and wait and not get any data. The one range that I belonged to, and the guy that had one, the only thing we could figure was because the roof overhanging the benches was a tin roof, that was somehow maybe screwing with it or something. I mean, he was like, or he had a bad unit, but he gave up on the thing. So.
I shot for 4 years in my lab radar with picking up every shot, never missed one. And then people start complaining, and for some reason I start losing shots. So I ended up switching to what's called a Piet trigger. All it is an accelerometer. It picks up the inertia of the gun moving, and then you never miss anything, even on rimfire and everything else. But it's another cord hanging off your lab radar, whereas the Garmin just reads everything.
What about range finders and spotting scopes? We'll go around the room and we'll talk about each one of those. What type of rangefinder and spotting scope do you use? And Rimfire Dave, I'm going to single you out and put you first because you've yawned like 4 times in the last 30 seconds. I got to give you something to talk about, buddy.
Poor guy.
I'm not used to being up. I sleep all the time, and now I've been out all day. I have a a Leica rangefinder, and I have 3 spotting scopes. I have an old. They're all 2 of them are old. They're old spotting scopes like Space Masters, and then I just bought a new Vortex Diamond 20-80 yesterday, 2 days ago. So I just tried it today, and it works really good. I put my phone on it, so like Mike does, he puts his phone up on that spotting scope, but I can look at it and see it. So I'm learning. I'm a little behind time because I'm not a techie guys like you guys.
So
You know,
I don't know if it's me and my technical difficulties or what, but I have the tri-adapter attachment to put the phone to the spotting scope, and I never could get it to focus in to satisfy me, but I always used an Apple phone, and I bought a Android style phone. It's a prepaid phone. I bought it at Walmart just to use it for videoing. And I recently found out that the camera on the Android adjusts to that spotting scope so much better. I can get a much clearer picture using that Android phone. So I don't know if it's the difference in their cameras that they use, Android versus Apple, or what, but I've been using that, and you'll see it in some upcoming videos where I film through the spotting scope instead of having a camera down range. And I'm pleased with the footage that I got by doing that. And got Helping Man that's jumped in there. Welcome in there, buddy. Better late than ever. And who's next? Hasbro. What about you? What kind of rangefinder spotting scope do you use?
Well, rangefinder, I showed you is this Athlon model, and it's been really solid for me. Spotting scope, I have a Conus, and I forget what it is. It's up to 60x, and it's decent. It's not too bad. I used it when I was shooting F-class a lot, but the stand I have is worth more than the scope. The scope isn't cheap. It's, I don't know, 4 something, but the stand was made by a guy in Kentucky, and I don't have it up here with me. I can tell you the name, but unfortunately, he had a machine shop. Unfortunately, he passed on. But it's it's got to be at least 1.5 inches, maybe 2-inch diameter stainless solid rod, and there's two halves that tighten together, and then it's got legs that fold out, so it's really convenient. It breaks in half, folds up, and in the middle of it, at the top, it's got a squib rod. It's just a really good design, and so I really enjoy using that. But yeah, that's what I use for spotting when I shoot that kind of stuff. I have a camera system too, by the way. I got one of Kenny's first Eagle Eye camera systems, and that works well. I use it occasionally too.
Telling Justin to listen to you so he can make me one of those camera stands.
Well, we get together. If you wanted to, I could just leave that stand with you and let you copy it, because you're not making them anymore, and it's a really good design.
So that's one problem I do have with my spotting scope is I started out with a Simmons that my aunt and uncle gave me, in which there's nothing wrong with the Simmons, but I wanted to try to get something a little better. This one's a 20 to 60 by 60 millimeter, and I was in Cabela's one day, and they had a deal on the Bushnell XL65, and I picked that up, and that's my newest one, and I like it pretty good. But my problem is, and you'll see this in some of my videos coming up, I shot on some windy days, and even though the image is good in the camera, you can see the camera, you can see that the spotting scope was jiggling on the tripod, because the tripod, no matter how much you tighten up all those little set screws, I can't get it perfectly stable. So I would like to have a stiffer tripod to hold my spotting scope. So, Mike, what kind of spotting scope do you use, or rangefinders, whichever one you want to talk about?
I use a Diamondback spotting scope for like my bench, type shooting and whatnot. If I'm shooting a match, a PRS on our all-style match, I look through a set of binos instead, off of a tripod. Just easier to pick up on targets and whatnot. And then my rangefinder is Sig Kilo that I use. So um, been happy with both. I would like to get a better spotting scope for video purposes. Something with some, something in the Razor, family, and I'd like to also have something that has, a mill reticle in it, and with a straight, tube and not the whatever the heck you call it, this type of a deal to look through. But it'd be nice to be able to look through something or film through it and have Stadia in it to see how much you're missing by. Not so much for like the rimfire challenges and whatnot, but for center fire stuff. But a lot of things I'd like to spend money on, and that's going to be one of the ones that's going to have to wait a little while.
So, not to change the subject, but the Rustic Rimfire had a question over here in the side chat, and Kenny's chimed in on it, but some of you guys might have some input as well. He has a 60s and shoots that it made it shoot worse and had bad stuff happen. And Kenny asked if the crown was threaded, and he also has told him how to take a Q-tip and check the crown to see if it's got jagged edges. But what any of you guys got thoughts on that? What could have possibly made it worse?
Yeah, gunsmith don't know what he's doing. He can make it worse for damn sure.
I didn't want to be mean or anything, but I was going to say it's probably a inexperienced gunsmith. And I'm not trying to put anybody down, but I've experienced those myself. I've took stuff to people that claimed they knew what they were doing, and in the end, I found out that I just wasted money and they didn't know shit from Shinola. Pardon my French, but.
There's a lot of YouTube gunsmiths in the world, brother.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Be careful the advices that you take out there for sure. What about Hillbilly over there? What kind of spot scope you got, buddy?
Hard seltzer.
Bear goggles. No, I've tried a few and I looked through a few, some friends and stuff, and the ones I got are not super high dollar, but I'm just not happy with them. And man, I've yet personally see somebody video through one downrange and it be good footage. Either it's shaky or you see heat waves coming up, or they move a lot and stuff. And so that's kind of why I've just not tried to invest in one. But I'm not in a situation where I'm at, a range to where you can't go down and, just, stick a camera down range. So if that was different, I would definitely probably be trying to, figure something out like that. I got a few rangefinders, nothing expensive, nothing, to really brag about or nothing, but they seem to do the job. That's about it, buddy.
Yep. Justin, I know you got Vortex, and I was going to compare mine to yours. I know I just bought the Bushnell XL65, but it does not compare to Justin's. Justin's his power adjustment and his diopter eyepiece adjustment and his focus, all that is much smoother than mine, and his scope is much clearer than mine. Although his is I think his is a little higher power than mine, but the functionality of it is better quality. So I bought the Bushnell trying to be on a budget, and probably should have bought a Vortex. So that's but Justin, you can tell us a little bit about your Vortex.
I got the Vortex Diamondback, like Mike was talking about there. Same one, the angled eyepiece. I think mine's a 20 by 60. I think by 80. I think I love it. It's real clear. As far as rangefinder goes, I got a Leupold 2800, and it'll range non-reflective out to 2300. The side of a truck or something, it may range a little farther. I've ranged to, I think 1800 is about the furthest hit that I've got with it. But really like it a lot. It has bullet drop compensation, all that, angle compensation.
George, you use a spotting scope or a rangefinder?
I had a rangefinder once. Somebody stole it, and I ain't had one since. The only time my neighbor up here's got a good Leupold one, and he ranged my 100-yard range and my 50-yard range for me. Other than that, I ain't had no use for one.
Yeah. If you're shooting long distance, you don't really need one, you know.
Yeah, right.
All right, guys. Well, we're getting close to coming up on the hour and a half, and I'm gonna let you guys go around the room, talk about some things you got coming up. But first, I want to say I'm glad to have Rimfire Dave back in the room this week after what
Thank
he's been
you.
through. After what he's been through, he had a little surgical procedure done on his top lip, and he had some melanoma removed. But he is now cancer free, and he's on the mend. He's been released by the doctors, and it's a good thing to see him back here on Let's Talk Benchrest, and I'm glad you could be back. But while we're talking about cancer, my phone rang at 8:45 tonight, and it was my father. And my dad's usually in bed by that time, so I knew that he had been waiting on some results from Tuesday, and I had doubts whether I wanted to answer that phone or not, because my dad, first of all, is not normal for him to be up at that hour, and I knew that it was either going to be good news or it was going to be bad news. But my dad has cancer in both lungs. He's had 33 chemo treatments, and his right lung is clear of cancer, and his left lung has reduced in size. So I just wanted to give that praise report. My dad's been through a lot. He's been through so much chemo that he's losing his fingernails and his toenails, and I mean it's really hurting him. But you cannot tell it. My dad still gets out and works in the yard every day. He still gets out and does woodwork. He still gets out in mechanics. And my dad had his arm removed at the neck. You know, they cut him right here, lopped his arm off, just barely left his nipple, and he lost his dominant arm. And my dad, in less than a year's time, has learned how to drive on and live his life, and he's enjoying it. So just wanted to share that with you guys. I know it's a little bit personal, but some of you guys have heard the story and mentioned that you'd pray for him, and I just wanted you to know that your prayers are working. So
Good deal.
we'll go around the room and George, what you got coming up, buddy?
Shooting some, hopefully. Damn, the wind has just been so bad. I got to shoot a little bit. I ain't been able to do any 100-yard shooting at all with Rimfire. I've got some projects. I got 22 nozzler project on the way in AR, and I got a 22 243 project. It's almost done. By the time the dies get here, it'll be ready to go. It's a Model 70 Winchester with a Bartman barrel in 22 280 or 22 243. So that'll be fun to get going. And, got a couple of good projects coming up. I'll try to video, but hopefully I can get them going.
Well, they're giving rain all day tomorrow, so I don't know if I'll get to shoot anything tomorrow or not.
Yep.
Mike, what you got coming up, buddy?
I'm hoping to get to the range a couple more times here yet this weekend, and do some other challenges as well. Did a few here today, like I mentioned earlier. Dropped one here a couple hours ago, and I'm going to drop one, I think, tomorrow and the next day. If you haven't seen the 100-yard hustler challenge target that Eli and I collaborated on, go over to Day at the Range and check that out, and then come on over to MN Shooting Sports and find the target and get your name and score up there on the leaderboard. If y'all haven't seen it, I have updated that website and that leaderboard. Eli shot it here again with a CZ, and he put up a whopper of a score. So I think he was hustling us all with that 4 that he put up here the other day. So, and I guess the other thing I got to say is that if you do want this, make a comment, reach out to somebody here that's like following this in side chat, because I really do want to get this out of my closet. So if you want this, let me know, and I'll stick it in if it fits, it ships $19 box and get it out to you. So
Well, I was going to say, Hillbilly's got the giveaway tool. Can we use your giveaway tool?
I'd have to get it set up, buddy.
Yeah.
But,
looks like someone's claimed it. So
we got somebody's already claimed it. There we go.
Yep.
I'd be more than happy to set it up if you want to do a giveaway.
Nope.
Yeah.
We got something in motion already. So everybody likes free stuff. Come on now. Look, my wife went to a graduation tonight, and she went to dinner afterwards, and I just got free Mexican.
Oh.
All right. Well, Dave, what you got coming up, buddy? I know you have been back out on the golf course, and you've been back out on the shooting range, and you've been back in the basement making firearms, and what?
Oh my goodness! Now that I'm better, I have a lot of honeydew things to do, and I have a deck on the back of my house, and it needs railing on. I'm going to get that done, and just honeydew jobs, and then I got a couple rimfires to build. So I got enough work to keep me till fall. So I'm sure you'll see the products when I'm done.
I always enjoy seeing what you're putting out there, buddy. You got some, you do some nice work. Yep.
Well, thank you.
Hasbro, what you got coming up, buddy?
Well, messing around with this, and that's not 22-250. That's a 223 bolt gun, a Howa. I just found a good deal, so I picked one up and playing with it. But it's a 1 in 12 twist. I got a good deal
Cool.
used, so I can't complain too much. But a 1 in 12 is just about useless in a 223 because you have to shoot really small bullets generally. Even the 55 grainers are borderline stability. But I had fun, got some good results on the first hand loads, and so I'll be doing that a little bit. Hillbilly, I'm going to be playing with hard seltzers. You know that's going to happen. I just got done cutting a can in half, and then I'm going to do some A-tip, the aluminum tip development on 6.5 Creedmoor next week or so. That'll be fun.
Ask that guy down there on the bottom row what kind of 22 caliber he's working on.
What are you doing?
22 243.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Nice.
What kind of velocity does that get, George?
Fast.
Barrel burner.
The 12 twist 223. I'll argue with you on that, brother.
Yeah.
12 and a 14 twist is the only twist I have in 223, in my opinion.
Well, I shot 62s and they clearly weren't stable, so they got to be smaller than that.
Piss on the 62. Shoot them 50 grain VMAX. They'll blow everything up and shoot down.
Well, I got 40s and 50s, and I'm just going to start playing with it. I haven't played with it much yet.
Yeah, I love the smaller bullets.
Like some 36 grain.
You couldn't count the coyotes I've killed with 50 grain VMAX out of 223.
Well, the only reason I got that gun is one of the contests I go to at 200 yards. I lost by one bullet with my 6.5 Creedmoor last year to a guy shooting 223. So I thought, I'm going to play around. We'll see. One stinking bullet.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
George sent me a picture the other day of a Bartland barrel blank, and he's like, "Guess what I'm working on?" And I was like, "That could be a broad horizon, man. I have no idea."
I like different stuff. I haven't shot standard calibers, and I don't know when. I wildcat everything.
I did say, I guarantee you, whatever it is, it's a wildcat. It's not normal.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, have you done a 223 Ackley?
Yes.
That kind of intrigues me. Is it worth messing with?
No.
Okay. Then I won't.
Well, didn't they come out with that 5.56 casing with a 22 mag bullet on it, and it's shooting almost 5,000 foot per second.
Yeah, I've got some.
Pretty impressive.
36 grain, I think they are over here.
36 grain varmint grenades.
You can get those humming.
Yeah,
but they're just not accurate though.
All right. Well, Justin, what you got coming up?
I know a whole lot. Hopefully, we get some shooting done this weekend if the rain holds off. We need to try to shoot Hillbilly's hard seltzer challenge with
All right.
pistol and rimfire.
Well, I was watching all the grass mowing comments in the side chat there earlier. I mean, if you come over and help me get my grass mowed and my weed eating done, we might be able to get to shoot some.
I know my grass too, so
I get it.
Oh, Lordy. Hillbilly, what you got coming up?
Well, I cut my grass this afternoon, so I ain't got to worry about cutting grass this weekend. But I'll be going back out the range and doing some more hard seltzer. I got a chance today to kind of sight in a center fire a little bit. Let's see, I might do. I'll probably do the hard seltzer rifle. I'm definitely probably gonna do it with some center fire rounds and stuff too. But yeah, that's kind of what I got going on. Other than tomorrow night, we got Guns, Beer, and Therapy. It's every Saturday night, 9:00 Central, 10:00 Eastern. And so if you ain't doing nothing, come by and visit us. But that's about it. Just making some videos and trying to have fun.
I am going to have to shoot that pistol challenge, especially since I brought home a new pistol today.
Yes, you did.
I got me a GP 100 Ruger out of layaway today. And I already shot it at the range this evening, and it shoots really, really good. So Yeah, I may have to do a pistol challenge with a little 38 special. Yeah, I don't think I want to do it with 357. I don't know.
I'll send you that big XP 100. You can do it with it.
I
Yeah,
shot. I shot 357 and 38 out of it, and it was accurate with both of them. So, just the 357 got a little more jolt to it.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna bring the 686 out and do it in the seltzer challenge here, hopefully this weekend too.
Awesome. Yeah, I shot my 686. I
Yep.
started doing okay the first 6 cans, and then it just went to hell after that. I don't know what happened. Yeah.
I'm trying to find a picture of what I told Hillbilly I'm going to shoot it with. This is my flamethrower, 454 Casul. And I'm going to get close enough to burn a hole in the target.
Well, yeah. Matter of fact,
Ugh.
he might be. I know Boomstick. He was the first. Might even be the only one that shot with a Jimenez. Him and
Yeah.
so,
That was a good one.
that was fun.
all right, well, we're over our hour and 30-minute mark. I got a bunch of videos scheduled. I got at least 3 a week scheduled all the way up till mid-July. But tomorrow there'll be a video coming out of me and Justin and Vince Ratliff shooting 100 yards at the range. And I put out a video every day this week of some challenge targets. And if you didn't see my short video I did, the reason I done that is I had so many challenge targets that I got behind on shooting. I wanted to do a week's worth of challenge targets to get some of them out there to you, because if I would have put them off and scheduled them on out into July or August, the challenges will probably be done and over with and gone before you would have saw my videos on them. So I had to sneak them in there somehow, some way. But yeah, just go over and check out my channel. Shoot a lot of challenge targets. I think everybody here has shot some challenge targets. Yeah, everybody on this panel has shot some challenge targets using 22s. This guy up here in the middle at the top and this guy over here on the right, I think they got a little rivalry going on
Oh gosh.
with the 100
Iron
yard stuff.
sights.
Yeah, iron sights and 416s. So y'all can hash that out. But I want to say thank you to everybody that got on and participated in the side chat tonight, and everybody that participated on the panel. A lot of good information here tonight. We'll try to come up with something good for you next week. Until then, we'll see you next week at 10 o'clock on Friday night. Let's talk Benchrest. Say good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, guys.
Y'all come back.